Las Vegas, Nevada, one of the most vibrant and wealthy cities in the world, with over 40 million tourists visiting each year. It's known for its high-stakes gambling and affluent clientele who visit all year round. But below and beyond the bright lights and incredible hotels lies a different story. Many people are living in poverty or are homeless and struggling to survive the very harsh and dangerous streets of the city.
Now, there should be more people that actually help.
It's the worst thing in the world is being homeless.
They push you to a limit out here.
There's no pity in Sin City, bro. Any military veteran?
Where we became homeless because of an eviction, we had nowhere to go.
With an estimated 6,500 homeless people now residing on the city's street, poverty in Las Vegas has been an increasing problem in the city and continues to rapidly grow. Sergeant Anthony Guerrero and his team are in a known homeless spot in North Vegas and regularly patrol the area. They are preparing to move in and hopefully relocate those homeless people dwelling there.
Right now, we're just going to go up there. We're going to put some tags that's pretty much saying, hey, you have 48 hours to remove your tent from this area. That way they can't say when we come in on the day we do enforcement, they can't say, well, I didn't get a warning. So no, you had a notice. You were told to. So it's not like somebody just got there that day and set it up. We know it's been there. They've been complaining to all the residents that they've had people coming in their front yard stealing their items. They've been blaming a lot of the homeless problem that is in this area, all these tents that they keep coming into their neighborhoods and just committing all these crimes.
The officers come across a self-homed resident, but their attempts to move him are not as successful as they'd hoped.
Where he's supposed to go? Besides the shelter. These shelters, how are you going to build shelter?
Yeah.
Shelters, he gets COVID, gets bed bugs, all that there, right?
I wish I had a good answer for you. I really do.
That's the problem.
I know.
No one has an answer.
I know.
They don't care. They just take everything they can. They don't care if it's your birth certificate, your social security card, your ID. They don't care about any of that. I had money to rent a place at a friend's, and my money was in my jacket last month when they took all of our stuff over there. So we're back out here. We got to work hard to getting our stuff back, and that's takes a while. So that really screws us over. I built this, so I mean everything. We lost everything, and we had no tent or nothing. So I had to do something to keep us warm, and I still don't even have a tent, so it's kind of hard.
It's just a one-room flat. You'll understand when you go in.
Got a couch, bed, shelves, here. No power, but batteries. Every 2 weeks, we got to tear it down, move it all, and then let them do their cleaning, and then I come back and put it back up. Now, there should be more people that actually help people instead of call and make little complaints because they're scared when most of the people out here are harmless and would help anybody.
With housing prices skyrocketing and jobs being scarce to find, the homeless community in Las Vegas is growing day by day. Only a handful of charities cater for the thousands of homeless people around the city in an attempt to get people off the street and back into society. U.S. Vets is a charity that aims to get homeless war veterans back on their feet. It's run by Giovanni, a former addict and rough sleeper himself, who understands the struggles and problems these people face every day.
Most people don't know mere steps away is one of the tunnels underneath the city where some of the homeless live. A lot of people move here thinking they're gonna become rich, and they end up losing it all and stuck on the streets.
Any military veteran? Any military veteran? Sir. How you doing?
Dean, a homeless vet,
US vet.
built himself a home shelter under this bridge, but is in constant battle with other homeless people and the authorities.
Is it just you up there, or do you have something with you?
No, that's just C, but there's a couple people there and somebody on the end. Hey, quiet.
Is that your dog?
It's the worst thing in the world is being homeless. You're never safe, not for one moment. And consider everything you have gone, stolen, gone through, like just, I lost everything in the wash in a flood, like 40 miles an hour, 4 feet high, and the rain didn't do that. They release water, and then it comes, and they don't set off no alarms, no like sirens or anything like tornado. Like, yeah, we're in there and we're not supposed to be there, like, but they know we're there. The tunnels are packed with people. You know what I mean? I think 9 people have died in the floods. It's almost a social experiment at this stage for me. You know, it's just so interesting. You know, you meet some of the most brilliant people, and then, you know, just the lowest dirt bag, like, pieces of shit ever out here. You know what I mean? They said, like, they'd be like, hey, man, did you go through my stuff? Oh, no, man, we wouldn't do that to you. I would tend to believe you if you weren't wearing my hat. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Like, just the audacity is like, okay.
Giovanni does a formidable job of dedicating his life to help homeless veterans. But despite the best efforts of these charities, every year, sons, daughters, and loved ones are reported missing across the city.
My nephew is missing. He's been missing for 11 days. He's autistic and bipolar, and he's extremely manic. We don't know. We cannot find him. We don't know if he's resting. We don't know if he's getting sleep. We don't know if his body's shutting down, but we can't find him, and we need to find him. We need to get this out everywhere. We have been in every camp. We've been to every shelter. We've been from here to the Strip. We've been everywhere. The jails are picking up the mentally disabled or missing people, and then releasing them without notifying the family that they have been found. And that's tragic, because if you have a missing persons report out there, you should be connecting with your loved one right away.
So a lot of people go missing in Las Vegas, and most people don't have anybody like that cares for them and is out looking for them. Especially for somebody with mental health. I mean, you never know what's going on in their head, you know what I mean?
Vegas Rescue Mission is a charity that puts endless hours into supporting the homeless communities by feeding, sheltering, and giving job support to those who come through the doors. Originally from the UK, Heather manages the charity, helping the homeless population get their lives back on track.
The Las Vegas Rescue Mission is privately funded, all but for a very small amount of money that's for our Intact Family program, and that's county funding money that we have for that. The solution we're always looking for as providers to help these individuals is affordable housing, and there's just none of that here in Las Vegas that's readily available for a lot of these individuals who are finding themselves on the street because they can't find somewhere that they can sustain paying rent for.
Tommy and his son have been homeless for many months now and have been relying on support from Las Vegas Mission.
If it wasn't for Las Vegas Rescue Mission, we'd probably be out in the street. We became homeless because of an eviction. There was no fault of ours. We paid this man 10 months of rent, and then all of a sudden, December 1st, we get a knock at the door, eviction notice. A marshal at the door said we had 24 hours. They stole half of our stuff that we put out in the backyard because we had nowhere to take it. We could carry what we could here, and that was it. We were just completely devastated. It was the man who we knew that was supposed to pay the rent said he was going to take care of us. No chance in that. My son goes to school. We get up every morning at 5 o'clock. I make sure he's ready to go. But other than that, then I come back. I got about 3 hours to spend myself. I've been looking for a job. I go to West Side Library. where I spend most of my time looking for employment. I've been out of work for 10 months now, or actually almost a year now. And I've looked online, 940 applications I filled out. I do have 2 interviews next week. I'm happy for that. We're moving step by step, little steps, but it should all come together.
Tommy has a job interview next week, which will transform his and his son's situation. If he's successful, they can get back to normal accommodation and finally get their lives back on track. Jay is an estate agent living and working in Las Vegas who supports the homeless people as much as possible by trying to house them. He is acutely aware of how bad the housing situation really is.
You know, we have a real problem in Las Vegas. We have a real problem in the United States, and I think Vegas really works as a microcosm. People come here with a dream. You know, it's corny, right? But people come here with a dream. They want a better life. They think they can find employment. Everyone is, just like everywhere in the United States, people are living check to check, barely making enough money to survive, barely getting by, and then anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong. Any big accident, any mistake, you take a bad job. You're in Las Vegas. We have all the vices. You make bad choices and you can end up on the streets. And I think people don't want to look at it. People don't want to pay attention to it because it's scary, because that could be us. That could be me. I'm a real estate agent now. I figured I could deal with these communities and I'd really enjoy doing it. I could help middle class and lower middle class people like the areas we're going through. I could help them find homes and live that part of the dream. And I couldn't. They couldn't get mortgages. Prices went crazy during the pandemic. And these people ended up being forced to rent, which all of these houses got bought by these investors, by these cash buyers, by Zillow and iBuy, and all these awful fucking giant corporations, giant wealth piles that buy all these places. They buy all these homes, and then they end up driving up prices so that normal people can't afford any of it. Then they end up benefiting from it because they have this amazing pool of qualified renters who can't afford to get mortgages or get houses. It's just all the money always flows up towards the wealth. So, can't afford a house. You're paying your rent. Something goes wrong. You get fired from your job. It's the pandemic. A lot of people lost their jobs, right? You start falling behind. You can't keep up. You get evicted. You don't have an address. You can't get more work. It's a cycle that ends anyone who just gets unlucky enough. And the people who live here don't want to look at it because that could be us. Few things go wrong and that can be us. So nobody wants to acknowledge. Everyone, I lived in New York City, I've lived here, and the thing is most residents just walk by and don't look.
On the other side of Las Vegas, just past the south of the Strip, is Sunset Park, where police officer Perkins spends many of her working hours with the homeless.
Currently, we're going to take a stroll around Sunset Park and make sure everything is good and everyone is behaving. If there's anything of interest that I feel like I need to stop and talk to someone, I will do so. We have the radio on. We can also become dispatched to certain calls. If something happens, if someone calls 911 or 311, then they contact us and then they tell us where to go. They give us the details. It looks like a couple individuals who possibly are homeless, just to make sure that, the park is being utilized for its intended purpose. And there's no one with any nefarious activity or behavior. I'm just gonna go make contact, consensual contact. Right now, I'm not seeing them violating any laws, so I have no reasonable suspicion or probable cause to detain them. Right now, it's a consensual contact. They wanna talk to me, that's fine, or they don't have to talk.
Julie has lived on the streets most of her life, but this makeshift house is providing the safety and accommodation that she has been desperately trying to obtain.
So how's everything else? How's everything going?
Pretty good. This is like perfect timing because I was just
Did you just get it?
Yeah,
It's got lights too.
yeah. They're gonna put a solar panel.
Oh, nice. And it just connects to your bike. Are you able to keep that up?
Yep, it's really.
That's like a workout, no?
And this right here just folds up. And this is actually, I'm supposed to get a milk crate, put it underneath back here.
Oh,
Okay. They said they're going to come in a couple of weeks with a solar panel that goes up here. And then there's already a plug on the inside. It's like for
charging?
for a car, like a car charger. But then they're also going to have an adapter. They said where I can actually put a regular plug, which would be really cool.
It can be scary at night. I'm not out here at night with her, but I've heard stories and I hear, I see things and I have to respond to things. There are some people who just don't take other people's safety into consideration and they're out to do harm. They're out to do harm. They see something they want and they take it at any means possible, whatever that looks like.
The park is calm and quiet, with everything seemingly under control. For the next stop, Officer Perkins and her boss, Chief Rogers, head to one of the biggest homicide areas in southern Vegas. Giovanni is back on patrol under one of the largest overpass bridges in Nevada. Here, the police have already started to flood out the homeless and remove them from their accommodation.
They're probably coming to clear out the area. What they do is they end up moving people. So they'll move to one area, and then they'll go and they'll move them from that area, and then they'll go to another area. So it's like a vicious circle. They just keep moving them around. It's the old adage, out of sight, out of mind. Because, this is Vegas. People come here and spend thousands of dollars gambling, everything else. They don't want the tourists seeing the homeless on the sidewalk begging for change. A lot of times, some police do more damage than they do good. Luckily, though, the ones that I've gone outreaching with and out on the streets, they're the total opposite. They're trained in mental health, and their job is to help get the people into programs and safe. Some of them were down there because they're doing drugs and they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be caught. Some of them are just falling down on their luck. And down in the tunnels, depending on the time of the year, it could either be warmer or cooler than the temperature above ground here. But on the other hand, when we have flash floods, those tunnels flood out quickly. And they have had people that have been in the tunnels that weren't notified and got washed out and died.
Dean is constantly trying to be moved by the authorities and struggling with the challenges at his home under the bridge.
Like, the lake was underwater. This tunnel system, you can see them, there's tunnels right behind there. The water gets as high as the roof on those tunnels. And they cleaned good. The water rushes cleans out the tunnels, and then other people's stuff, and after the rain, it's like Christmas. As a homeless, I cannot not look down and see what the fuck is that. You know what I mean? It's incredible what you find.
Many people, like Dean, have built homes in tunnels and bridges not far from the Strip, but the police continue to move them on, even if they are unseen by the public.
This completed, I pictured it a long time ago, what I wanted to do. So, that's one thing. When they said they were coming, I was gonna film it. I was gonna put that TikTok. I want to watch them tear this down. It's the workers who clean up the garbage and stuff. Go ahead. I would go ahead. What? I'm not bothering anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. Why can't I stay up here? You know what I mean? It's maddening.
Clearly, the reality of being street homeless is much more fraught with danger and uncertainty than people realize. Dean's story is unique, yet echoes the situations of thousands of homeless people across the country. With his job interview imminent, Tommy is getting ready for the meeting, which will hopefully get him out of the shelter and back on his feet.
Today I have an interview, and I'm here today in Las Vegas Rescue Mission's thrift store to find a shirt for myself because our clothes got stolen when we moved out. And if it wasn't for this thrift store, I wouldn't be able to get a shirt for this interview. I'm really nervous. It's been over a year I've had a job, and I'm very anxious to get this job because my son and I need it really bad. I just hope everything works out and find a shirt too. This is the one. Hey, look at this, guys. All right, this is the one. I'm gonna try this one out right here. Fantastic. And they got ties too. I'm gonna try to tie it tightly. All right. Hey. If you're homeless and you need some clothes, this is the place to come. Custom-made shirt here, though. I think it looks good, guys. The Rescue Mission does offer many avenues of finding clothes, if you need clothes, counseling, recovery, finding jobs, most important of all. And they do house you here. There's a lot of homeless people out there that need help. They should just reach out a little bit more, and the resources are there. If you're willing to get off the streets, this is the place to do it. Yes, I'm paying just for this interview shirt that I have right here. This is gonna get you a job today, this shirt right here. So I'm paying for that.
Are you homeless?
Yes, ma'am.
Freed.
It's free? Oh, thank you. Look at that. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right. I definitely interested. Thank you very much. Thank you for the shirts. This job is going to change my life considerably, because it's been over a year that I've been working, and I've filled out over 900 applications, and I'll be able to. I don't really would like to rely on the rescue missions any more than I need to, but I like to get this, be able to afford an apartment of my own, instead of going through social services or public aid. I'm staying focused and positive, like I've been doing all year. I know nothing's set in stone yet, but I'm just going there, and if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to keep trying. That's all I can do. It's going to hurt us bad. I'm just going to have to rely on rescue missions a lot more for what our needs are. But I'm prepared. I'm actually prepared in both ways. I'm glad I have that inner strength to be able to do that. Where if I'm turned down, it's not going to destroy me. But even though it's going to be a negative towards me, I'm just going to use it as a positive and just keep going. That's all I can do.
Officer Perkins and Chief Rogers have arrived at Pecos McLeod Trailhead, a local park that can be heavily populated with homeless people and rough sleepers. Crime is usually a daily occurrence in this neighborhood, and local residents constantly complain to authorities.
But when the citizen says the Pecos McLeod Trailhead, that it's got all these homeless encampments, What I believe that they're referring to is right below that area is a wash area, and that's the area that they're talking about. So we're going to check it out.
As they roam the location, the police see someone discard a life-endangering item.
The knife was about that big. You see him pull it out of his pocket?
Hold it out of
Yeah, it was about that big. Pulled it out and dropped it. So, yes. So you're gonna black and silver tire. Right above that tire, he dropped a very large knife.
James, who is homeless, has dropped a very large knife and walks toward the police. Many of the homeless carry weapons, as they feel they need to protect themselves from people trying to attack them or take their belongings.
Any other weapons on you?
Outside my brain? No.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it. Ooh, all right, James. What are you up to today? I'm Officer Perky. This is Chief Rogers.
I know Chief Rogers.
These are some good things. We're filming a documentary. We're trying to make a difference on homelessness. And I'm not sure if you have a home.
Okay, so I'm one of the individuals, older individuals. There's an older group. They used to be here. They're in their 70s. Was introduced to this community by one of the elders at the time. When I first started coming around, there was a lot of hopelessness in people's eyes because they'd never seen anybody who kept their word and was a piece of shit, and then you know, dirtbag them or do something to them. And I was that beacon of light, so to speak. One of a few that have come through here and tried to help out individuals or help individuals regain whatever normalcy they used to have at some point. A lot of the community and a lot of people go around with the attitude that this is not my problem. And they're wrong, because not only is it their problem, it's my problem. And I am one to believe that society as a whole is failing, because this is not just happening here; it's happening on other continents.
After speaking with James and understanding he is not a threat to police officers, Perkins is led to where he thinks she saw the knife being dropped.
Nope. I'd rather you stay right there.
Officer Perkins goes back to speak with James again, who is now with a friend, to investigate further.
You're the master of all this? Got any weapons on you? No weapons? You just record me? Mind if I check you real quick? All right, get your hands back over me. All right, so James is saying that you fix bikes for people, kind of your area.
They're trying to keep this protected from other people stealing this stuff, and trying to keep people from stealing either one of our stuff is an issue sometimes, because we do have individuals that come through here that don't respect other people's stuff and will steal. So having to deal with that, and then finding out who did it, and then retrieve some people's stuff, like with the older individuals, when they get their stuff stolen, I mean, they're not gonna go chase somebody down to go get their stuff back. So they usually come to us and say, hey, look, my bike was stolen. You know, if somebody came, the community came and said, hey, look, my bike was stolen, and it was stolen from this place, and it's just kind of bike was. 9 times out of 10, he'll find it and return it to the person. You know, we're trying to close that gap and heal some of the wounds that have happened over the past, because there have been other individuals that were here previous to us being here that made a lot of garbage, that did crimes, that or had addictions that neither one of us have, that have left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. We're trying to, let those individuals know that, hey, look, we're not those individuals, and judging us as you were still dealing with them is not fair to us, and it's not helping you out. You're looking at me as if I'm some drug addict criminal. But what you're not looking at We're not looking at the man who has a master's degree in relocation. We're not looking at the individual who served in the military. We're not looking at the individual that did a lot of things before this. I could get out of here if and do these things and go into these groups and whatever and leave that way. I don't want to. I want to work my way out of here.
People want to work and don't always want the help from the charities or the police. Homeless people with disabilities are often pushed to the fringes of society. And in Vegas, communities like this are the only support they get. 2 homeless people that didn't want to be named live inside the homeless encampment and tell us their struggles.
We have a lot of homeless around here in these parts. It's the west side. And we need way more help than what they're receiving. I do something like John the Baptist. I teach the worst of sinners, so that's why I'm here and out here. In order to teach something, you have to go through something, or you be misleading the world. You know, you don't know how they really feel. You gotta know how I feel to be hungry, how I feel to be thirsty, how I feel not to have clothes and shelter over your head when it's raining and it's cold. So I see how hard it is, and it's very hard. They say the strongest survive. So what y'all looking at is the strongest. Now this is a field that's not owned to no one, as you can see. So why kick them out? They're over here by themselves. As you can see, the people that's right there is tagged, you know? They had tents and they was set up right. They had the little bathrooms that the city would come and bring. Now they don't bring none of that. This area's changed so much, man. You used to come to Vegas, and Vegas has so much love for humankind. Like, they didn't give a fuck with color, religion. None of that mattered here. People would come out and feed you everywhere. In the city, the richer people decided that we were scumbags or something. I don't do drugs, I don't drink alcohol. I live out here by choice. I have cancer. Right now, it's not by choice, actually, because I only make $800 and some a month Social Security. Then they check me every 2 months, like I didn't get my benefits this month, because they want to make sure I'm still active cancer. How am I not a human being? How do I not have rights? I could be out here selling drugs. I could be out here robbing people. I could be out here doing all kinds of bogus shit. I'm from the projects. I've seen it all. Yeah. On the corner over right, the blue tent, it's all deaf people. They all deaf. Right here too. They all deaf. The deaf family. Skunks is deaf. He's my cousin. So I've had sign in my life for a long time, but I have autism and seizures, so I forget names. And a lot of people already don't even remember. So we become one. There's good and bad, so you gotta weed them out.
Back over on the other side of the city, Tommy has just come out of his interview and has hopefully been successful in getting some much-needed employment.
Wow, man, I got a job today, not 1, but 2, and I am so grateful from the Lord that He's answered my prayers today, man. Not 1, but 2 jobs I got today. And what that does for me and my son, you just don't, there's no words can explain how I feel right now. It's awesome. And now, my son, Kalen Pedersen, your dad is now an employed person, and I'm gonna be looking out to make our life even better for me and you, man. Okay, buddy? All right? Cool.
Tommy has landed 2 jobs today, which will allow him and his son to get back to society and build a life in Las Vegas. On his way to North Vegas, where homeless people are residing, Jay, the estate agent, is discussing some of the causes of homelessness in the city.
We can look at homelessness in the country and in Las Vegas in particular and the causes of it. And there are many, right? Mental health, I put very high on the list, and how this country does not address mental health. We don't worry about it, we pretend it's not there. So then a certain portion of the homeless population are people who are sick and need help and aren't getting it. They get messed with by the cops, they get shoved into different places. Sometimes they get arrested, but they never get help. The way this can work, the story Americans are told, the American dream, you buy a house, you pay it down, and it's actually a way of saving money, right? You pay your mortgage So you owe less in the house. Eventually you own a house, which you can sell, and then that's your retirement. That's the dream. It's been gaining value the whole time, right? And you're happy. So when you cut people off from that, when there's no access to that, there's no hope. I mean,
In some communities, the homeless are living in abandoned buildings, fed up of dealing with the police every day and the other dangers that lay in the back streets of Vegas. They reside here to survive and stay out of trouble. Bobby is one of the homeless people living here alongside his friends who did not want to be named.
This house here is open to the public. You know, it's an open door policy. That's why there's a lot of people here. That's why cops don't like us, because when it rains, we have a place to go. When it rains out there, they throw you out for the tunnels, throw you out for the bridges, everything else where you can keep dry. You know, being homeless for 25 years, I've been all over the place. This is about the best place. But the cops just don't care. They give you 5 minutes. Pack your shit or DOT takes it.
Sorry, hey, I'm sorry. I just getting up. I was just waking up to this world.
It's a money town. This is for tourists. They don't care about the people that's suffering right now. So
people say don't trust anybody.
Somebody speak or whatever to help us like that, we probably wouldn't be in the situation we would. We're not bad peoples. We're not here to say, oh, we're gonna rob you or take stuff from you. We're here to help you. You know, I love to help people. You know, I learned that from divining streets, you know what I'm saying? How to conduct yourself better, know how to be respectful to people, you know, and then go up, shake a hand, meet a friend, you know what I mean?
Jay arrives at the abandoned house where the small community of homeless people are in constant battle with the authorities. His view, though, is that what they're doing is not only beneficial, but also gives them a sense of purpose.
all right, we're at the home that the intrepid filmmakers visited earlier. They're the people trying to squat to establish ownership. Now, in Nevada, you need to live there continuously for 5 years, which my recollection is quite typical. 5 years is a normal time period that you would need to conspicuously occupy a property to gain ownership over it. In Nevada, you also have to establish that you're paying the property taxes, which seemed challenging, but this is something homeless people can do. They're so often trapped in a loop. They don't have an address. They can't get a job. They can't improve their situation. So at least trying to enforce squatting rights gives them an action to take. I do think that this is a methodology that's being used by people who advocate for the unhomed, and I think it's a good strategy. I think if you can find these properties that are not being used, they're in disuse, and you can improve them, you're taking all the risk, right? Like, you are working, and you may not end up owning that property, but like I said, at least it gives you an action, it gives you something, it gives you hope, it gives you things. I think this is a great strategy and something that should be employed nationwide.
Jay feels strongly about making a change for the homeless people here, but believes it's not just local charities and law enforcement that should rectify the problem. It's a far-reaching governmental problem that needs urgent attention. The stark contrast between the famous Las Vegas Strip and what's beyond is clearly evident.
This is what everyone thinks of when they come to Las Vegas. It's the Strip, it's shiny, it's bright, it's neon, it's great, it's relatively clean, and it should stand in incredibly stark contrast to everywhere else you have seen in this film. Because this is where the government cares. This is what they worry about. This is where there's public transportation. This is where cops patrol. Not anywhere else. Not to the same extent. This is where all the money goes. And most of it's going to the people who own those big shiny buildings, the corporations who own everything, and not to the people keeping all of this going. Never to them. And that puts them in the place that we've been talking about. That puts them on that slippery slope where one thing goes wrong and they're on the street suffering like everybody else, desperately trying to find hope anywhere, and just abandoned by their city, their society, their country, right next to all of this.
Many of the homeless are also living on the Las Vegas Strip. Jolie used to be one of them, but now works outside the Bellagio Hotel as a photographer.
When I first arrived in Vegas, I was homeless. I think a lot of people migrate here because the opportunity is a good opportunity to make some side money on the street. You get what I'm saying? Now, also with the homeless, I think it's like a mental health issue, you know, that, people who went through post-traumatic stress, PTSD, and some got over the hump and some haven't, So I think the homeless is mostly just based off that, they went through a traumatic event in their life at some point, and they just haven't recovered. Most of them are peaceful. But the ones that come through here on this part of the strip, I got a kind heart, so I hold little light conversations with them, this, that, and the fourth. Like I said, most of them are really cool individuals. They're just trying to get through life and cope with, the situations that they've been through, One thing that I don't like is the couple individuals that may be well off in life. They may look down on the homeless, this, that, and the fourth. But I don't think that they should do that. And the way the society is going, with the economy and things like that, it can happen to anybody real quick. So you can be living a life where everything is great. All of a sudden you lose your job, this, that, and the fourth. And then next thing you know, you're in a situation where you're homeless, you know what I'm saying? And I personally think that some individuals, it may take for them to go through that experience to have the sympathy for the people who are in that situation and who can't mentally get themselves out of the situation. If that's just my take on it,
Although Jolie has managed to get his life back on track, for others, it's a different story. Joel arrived in Las Vegas with big dreams, but like many, got rejected by the big city and became homeless.
So at 23, I lost it all. Started doing drugs, lost everything. Walked down to the studio apartment that we had with one backpack in the snow, 3 feet of snow coming down, and I'm walking the 5 miles from the Y to state line in my hometown. I didn't lose everything because of methamphetamine. I lost everything because of the situation that I was in. I have been harassed by the police, by the security guards, by every force of life. I get beat down. I got in a fight a couple weeks ago. A guy hit me for no reason. He blew my right eye apart. I have popped blood vessels in the right eye. I had a broken nose. He hit me across with a right cross and tore me apart and tried to kill me in the parking garage right down the road at the Tex-Mex. Homeless are so extensive in Las Vegas because of the tunnels that they have in Las Vegas. The tunnels, there's 270,000 square miles of tunnels in Las Vegas. Huge. It's not dangerous unless you're down there causing them destruction. If you're down there to tell on anybody, if you're down there to get in with somebody who you're trying to get in with and they don't like you, they'll alienate you in a minute. I actually got dropped off in the Bally's parking garage on the 4th floor, July 5th, 2018. I got dropped off with no shoes on my feet. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of good people. I met a lot of bad people. And you get every walk of life in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world.
But despite the hardship he's suffered, Joel is still optimistic about the future.
I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but everything's gonna get better soon. I know that. I'm off to greener pastures. I just need to remember where I came from, and where I came from was stability and a household where my mother and father cared, and not blame anybody but myself. I'm number one. I'm number one who made my mistakes. I will make my bed and I will lie in it. I know there's something out there. I know there's a future out there for me.
I can't come here. I live here, and most of the people you talk to who live here don't come to the Strip. Part of it is because this is where all of us work. This is where our bosses take advantage of us. This is where we're reminded that this is what everyone with money and power in this city cares about, And it's not any of the neighborhoods we've been in. It's not the middle class ones, it's not the poor ones, it's not anywhere. It's just here. All I see is exploitation. All I see is people being taken advantage of. And I can't be a part of it.
Although the homeless try to keep themselves hidden, many are still on the Strip and beyond, trying to earn a few dollars from the high levels of tourists. Hidden amongst the bright lights and exclusive hotels, the flip side of Las Vegas is clear for all to see, having one of the biggest homeless issues in the USA, which continues to grow at an alarming rate. Fortunately, there are stories of hope from the goodwill of ex-homeless like Giovanni and the charities that attempt to help the homeless of the streets. Jay, who lobbies the authorities to do something about the problem, to Tommy, who finally succeeded in regaining employment and hopefully a home of his own once more.